Hey, I am the greatest, aren't I? Haven't I told you that before? I am the greatest. How many hangouts do we have to go through that? Presentations are key to your success. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's what I want to present today. So let's get excited about getting on that stage and doing a presentation because it's your calling card. It's, as my friend Mike says, it's your sign. It's how you put it out there. It's how you get business. So today, I want to get you excited. I want to get you fired up. And I want to share some screens with you too. So let's start with this one. Where are we at here? Yep. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Kick it up a notch. And great presentations. This is a quick overview of what we do. So I want to get you excited. I want to get you rolling here. And when I talk about being the greatest, what am I talking about? Well, who else would I be talking about other than, let's take a look at him, Muhammad Ali, right? Cassius Clay, whoever. Was he the greatest? I don't know. I don't know if he was the greatest or not, but I can tell you one thing. He had us convinced he was the greatest, and he went on to become what was probably one of the greatest people in the world of boxing. But I want to tell you something. He believed it, and he portrayed it, and he got it out there. And what about you? Are you going to do that when you get on the stage? Now, you see what I just did? If you looked at the slide, up at the top, it said attention getter. That's all I did right there is I got your attention. And when you do a presentation, that's where you got to start. You got to start somewhere where you're going to get the attention of the people that are there with you. So let me, So what I want to do when it comes to that is, all right, let me get out of here and share my screen with you again. We keep trying to do it here. Yeah, do something crazy. Stand on your head, juggle. If I could juggle, although I got a great new juggle thing I'm going to use in a couple of days. But if I could juggle, I would juggle. I would jump. I'd dress well. I got my red shirt on today, right? To do this recording. Why? Because I got to do something different. And you've got to get the attention of the people that you are talking to. Get their attention. Get them excited. Get them to pay attention to you. Now you can start talking. Because if you don't do that, how are you going to be able to start talking? You see what attention getters do? Let me share that slide with you. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, there we go. What attention getters do is they stops people in their tracks and it makes them focus. And what do you want? When you're doing the presentation, what is it you want? I want people to pay attention to me. Otherwise, I'm up here, and why am I speaking up here? Come on, let's do it. I used to hesitate about this stuff, but when you're in front of people, you have got to get their attention. They're sitting there, they're talking on their phones, they're doing something. A lot of times when I walk into a presentation, I'll come from the back, as my friend and one of my mentors, James Malachek, taught me. He said, that way people have got to turn, they've got to look. You've got to get their attention. So the first thing we want to talk about is you got to get their attention, right? You got to get them to pay attention. So the second thing we want to talk about, check this picture out. I love it. I found it out there on the internet. Where is it? Here it is. Share. Bam. Afraid. How many of you are afraid? How many of you are afraid? Do you know? And I think most of you probably know that the number one fear out there amongst people is to get in front of a crowd. How can that be when some of us just love it? But it's true. People are scared to death. They're more afraid to get in front of a crowd than they are to die. That's just the bottom line. But you have nothing to fear, so just get out there. And one of the things I teach, we actually do an intense session that we only allow 8 people per session in, where we teach you how to do this. and we make you do it on the air, and we then tape you, and then we watch it. That's what we get. And we get rid of that fear. Because you know what? If you're a CEO, if you're a business owner, if you're a growing professional, if you're somebody on your way, you have got to learn how to do this in front of a crowd. It's just part of what you have got to be able to do. And I love to share this next slide with you here because it kind of says a lot of things. It says, I have no idea what I'm doing up here. And so many people don't even understand what a great presentation is, what even a good presentation is. They get up there and they wing it. First of all, they can't talk in front of people worth a darn in the first place. And then second of all, how are you going to wing it if you're not very good, period? So let's take a look, because you know what? What I'm going to give you today is just a simple overview. If you can check at the bottom, I think we have some stuff on our classes. You can always check our website about presentations. But you got to get comfortable in front of people. And that's how you're going to make it happen for you. So let's look at, realistically, what all great presentations have to have. Because that's what's the important thing. All great presentations have to have an opening, 3 points, and a close. That's it. That is it. And that is all. And if you can do that, you can be great at doing this. That's it. Open, 3 points, and a close. Now, those points may have some sub-points, but 3 things is if you people remember 3 things, you're way ahead of the game. Most people can't even remember that much. So if you just follow that pure and simple, let me put it up there again, because I want to make sure you get this, because this is it. This is what we're talking about. This is all we're talking about. 3 great presentations, open, 3 points, and a close. And that's all that you have to learn. And that's what I'm going to try to teach you some of that today. Of course, we do a great job of teaching you a lot more detail in our class, but the 3 points are there. So what you don't want to do, and I'm going to show you this on the slide here. And I'm sorry I keep bumping back and forth with slides, but it's just the way this has got to be. I got to show you some of this stuff. Not 25 ways, 36 winning formulas, 15 this. You see people doing this all the time, and I'm all like, you can't do that. What are you doing? 3. That's it. Done. End of story. That's all you need to do, and you will be a hit. Trust me on this one. That's it. So let's go to point 1. And I'm just going to show you some stuff up here. Point 1 to success. All right, let's get it up here. Bam, bam, bam. When you mess up, no one knows. Now, I want you just to get that through your mind. You don't have to be there pulling your hair out like this lady, right? Okay, you do not. When you mess up, I may mess up all day long, and you may never know, because I'm not going to sit there and say, I just messed up. Oh, but people do that, don't they? You see them present before, and they say, oh, I messed up. Oh, what am I going to do now? Keep going. That's what you're going to do, because you know what? Most people haven't even seen it. And that's what's so amazing. I can tell you the story. I'm sitting at a presentation one day, and I'm at the front. You know, I like to stand at the front, and I'm always looking down a little bit. And I happen to gaze at my shoes, and all of a sudden, this thing goes off in my brain. Manny, you have 2 different shoes on. I'm like, oh, no, right? Who knew? Some people in the front may have known, but somebody knew. Now, you can ignore things, or you can bring them to the surface. Either way, you just can't just start making them fuss about it. So what did I do? I said, you know what? Today I'm presenting about failure creates success. And you know what? I made this mistake. Guess what? I got 2 different shoes on. And everybody cracks up, and it's funny, and it gets it out on the table, and it's amazing, isn't it? So don't worry about the mess ups. And if you got an elephant in the room, get that sucker out, and let's start partying with it and go on. All right. Next thing I want to talk about today. I want to talk about show and tell. And this is really easy. Bring an object and you're going to do show and tell. You're going to do pass around. That's wonderful. I was at a presentation not that long ago and they were doing show and tell is a great thing to do. You know, you pass something around. Let's say, like, I could have this bottle, and if it was some unique bottle other than just my bottle of water, I could pass it around. I might take, guess what these are? Most people probably don't even know what these are. These are wooden matches. I only use them because I like them better than regular matches to light my candles with and stuff. But it's a pass around. Couple things, 2, 3 things. Don't, you know, you don't want everybody looking at something at the same time, but pass around, because the touch and feel makes it different. Because we're at a presentation where a guy was talking about air conditioners, and how they this little part on an air conditioner, people think that the air conditioner is good. It's just a little part that you need to keep clean. And he passes around the dirty one, and you see it, and you say, "It's a $3 part." And people, you know, I was at a presentation, people were talking about boxes used, because today one of the big industries is boxes. You don't realize how much stuff gets shipped and how unique sometimes those boxes are that things come to you in. And so he passed around some of these, and it gives you a feel, because when you can feel and touch things, that's good for your audience. It really gets them involved in and gets them to see things that sometimes you can't put through words. So don't, if you got something that's really touchy-feely, pass around a few things, and it'll be good. One thing you do not want to do, all right? Let me bring up that slide. One thing you do not want to do is you do not want these handouts. I know. Some of you will tell me, "Oh, I got to have handouts, Manny. If I don't have handouts, how are people going to follow me?" Put something up on the screen. You know what happens with handouts? When we give people handouts, what do? They look at them. They're like, I don't want you looking at it. Even in our boot camp, we have this big, thick study guide that we like to give out to people. But we don't give it to them until after the opening keynote, because I don't want them looking at that. I want them paying attention while I'm doing the keynote. So you can give them handouts afterwards and things like that. You could send stuff before the session, maybe, but do not do handouts. Do it up on the screen. Let them see what's going on up there. Let them take notes, because I want them paying attention to me and to what I'm doing today. Now, a key thing that you have to remember is you have to remember that the way to get people to pay attention is through stories. But you never tell a story that doesn't have a point. I go to presentations and people talk about, they tell jokes and they do all this stuff and they're funny, but it has nothing to do with what they're talking about. And am I going to remember it? Maybe, if it was really funny. Second thing is, don't make a point without a story, because people don't remember the points as much as they tell the story. So that's critical for you. And the third thing is, pain sells. So work it. How many of us will start talking about the pain that your product or service can relieve, and they stop? They don't take us deep enough. You need to take your audience deep. Let them feel the pain, especially if you're out there and you're trying to raise money for causes and stuff. Let them see it. Let them feel it. Spend more time in the pain, because that way, stop trying to come up with a solution right away. It's okay. Get them deep into the pain, because that's what will get them to buy in the end. So stories, you need stories. You saw me. So far, I've told stories of what I present something. I tell a story. I was telling you about the elephant in the room, right? What I do, I told a story. What was the point? The point was, most people don't know what's going on anyway, and you'll remember that. But you need stories, because stories are so critical to presentation. So what I've done now in point 1, what have I done? What have I done is very simple. What I've done is I've shown you 1 point, right? That's it. Just pay attention. And let me go back here to where we were. And what did I say? Keys to success. My point one, and I probably didn't share the slide with you, was keys to success. And I talked about mess up and about points that you need and about pain. Now let's go to point two. And I'm showing you a little bit. I wouldn't really do it exactly this way, but let me share with you. Here we go. The second point, which is practice. Practice, 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 practice. I mean, people go out there, wing it. People don't understand how important and how critical their ability to present is, and they don't practice. Great presentations are about practice, about knowing your material, about anticipating what people are going to say. You have got to understand your material. You have got to know what you're talking about. Get out there, practice, and practice some more. By the time you get up on the stage, you should be so good. I'm doing a presentation next week, a longer presentation, and I've done nothing but practice this week and the first part of next week. What am I going to do? Practice, practice, practice. Because when you hit the stage, you got 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, something, and you got to be good, sharp, and you got to know what you're talking about. Because if you don't, what happens? You look like you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I want to share the next picture I want to share here. I love this. This is one of my favorite pictures now. I don't even remember where I found it. But the great thing for, in presentation is you got to be persistent. Never give up. How do you like that guy? I love that guy. That's persistence, isn't it? And when we're talking about practice, you got to be persistent, and you've got. Let me share another slide. Not just persistent in your practice, you have got to be consistent. If you're doing a consistency, you might get out there. You might tell. I was a presentation the other day, and a guy told a great story to start out with, and it was kind of a joke. But you know what? The rest of the presentation was weak. So you need to be consistent. In other words, in your presentation, you need to come out fired up, get my attention. You need to have 3 good points, and then you need to close out and have it work. So remember the persistence. Don't forget my little buddy there, and the consistency, because guess what? It's so important. All right, what else? Discipline. All right, let me just tell you that discipline is one of the key pieces that bridges us, that makes you a success. And why aren't most people successful? Because they don't practice. Why don't they practice? Because they don't have any discipline to practice. People, and even after you watch this, you'll get out there and you'll still keep winging stuff. Stop. Let me show you. I share this picture with you because this picture right here says it all. And any of you people out there who are up, that's my discipline. And you know who that is, of course, Jim Rowe. And Jim was just the guy, right? So let me, whoop. Let me, why am I not getting nowhere? Oh, there we go. Sometimes I just got to continue with the technology here a little bit. And I am a tech guy, you know that. Here we go. There we go. That's why most people aren't great golfers. Most people have been golfing, whether they've been golfing a year, 10 years, 30 years, they all shoot about 100. Why? Because they don't go here. They don't go out on the range to practice hitting balls. Why not? Because they don't want to practice. Why aren't most people selling all they could? Because they don't practice. Why aren't people as successful as they can be? Because they don't practice. If you want to be great at speaking, you got to practice what you're saying over and over and over again till you know it cold. And that's just the way it is. You don't see me coming here and thinking about, well, I wonder what I'm going to say next. Okay, practice. Let's see. Let me read my, what am I supposed, come on, that's not it. You got to know the stuff cold, whether you're getting in front of a camera or whether you're getting in front of a crowd. You got to know this stuff cold. All right, so that was practice, point number 2. And point number 3, which I want to share with you, is just some personal tips. And these are just some tips that are going to help you in your presentation. And let's see what we got today. All right, the first one I want to talk about, and I'm not sure these slides are coming through the way I want them to, but what have I got on my face? What have I got? What have I got on my face? I got a smile. And if you're not smiling, you are wasting one of the greatest tools that you have available to you. So start smiling. Use that smile. I can tell you that I am a Marine. And when I was going through Marine Corps boot camp, I still always had this smile. I just never knew how to use it. But the trouble was, in the Marine Corps, it's not a good thing to smile, especially when you're in line. So I used to stand in line at attention because you spend a lot of time standing at attention. And my drill sergeant come up to me and he'd be, Nowak, Private Nowak, bop, 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 all over me, right? And I just couldn't help it. I just have that tendency to smile. And I break out into this smile, and that'd be it for me. All right? But what I do there, what technique did I just use there? I just used a story, right? Making a point and using a story, because it's important that you smile when you tell the story, isn't it? It is. What else? Next thing is, you got to keep it simple. And all we're saying is, I want you to keep it easy to understand, easy to follow, but more than anything else, I want it easy to retell. I want anybody to, after you see me, I want you to be able to talk to your friends and neighbors and everybody else and say, this is what took place. You know, Manny talked about practice. Manny talked about consistency. He had this picture of this mouse, and he had this, and he talked about putting 2 different shoes on. That's easy, simple, and if people can retell your story, guess what you're going to be able to do? Sell. A couple other things. Let me grab a drink of water here. You got to know your audience. Now, in today's world, and I'm not politically correct. I'm going to tell you, I don't really follow all that political correctness stuff, but I do believe in never hurting people's feelings. So there are certain words, whether you're talking to a crowd of all women, whether you're talking to a crowd of all men, whether you're talking to children, whether you're talking to young people, old people, there are certain things you do, certain things you don't do, certain words you use, whether you're talking to a very educated crew or just a regular old crew. Watch the words that you use, the phrases, the humor. You need to understand your audience. It's tough for me because I'm out here in this video. I have no idea who's going to watch this video, so I got to be kind of generic. But a lot of times when you're speaking to groups, you know what the crowd is, who they are. So please take some time to understand them and to focus. And I want you to be you. Guess what? You can't be somebody else. And the worst mistake all of us make is, and I made it when I first started doing a lot of speaking, we try to be somebody we're not. I mean, I love Tony Robbins. He's been a mentor of mine for years, but I'm not Tony Robbins. But I think at one point I was trying to get up there, and you want to be Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, Jim Rohn, but you're not. You are who you are. And today I'm Coach Manny. That's it. That's who I am. That's who I try to be. And people don't have to worry about confusing me. Kermit said it best when he said, it's easiest being you. And let me see if I can find that picture to share with you up here. And we'll just share. It's easy being you. Because that's the point I'm trying to make. It is terribly easy if you just try to be you. Now, a couple other things. Be calm, pace yourself. Don't get start talking too fast. You see people who are nervous start talking fast. People who have scripts, who read. Da, 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 da. Now, great speakers don't really need all that, right? And although sometimes on TV and sometimes, you see the president, you think, wow, he's a really great orator. I think that's the right word. But he's reading a script. You got to be able to do this on the fly. You got to be able to do notes. Don't read. Now, I used to preach. A couple of years I spent preaching, and every week, and I learned a great deal there. But I used to use a set script because I wanted to make sure I did it in a certain time frame and at certain points. And I wasn't that good then. The better you get, the easier it is, but only if you practice. Use that smile again, right? All right, the final thing is you got to close. All right, that's the final thing that you got to close, and you need a good close. Now, what I like to do, let me see if I can get this up here for you. What I like to do, let me share this picture with you up here, and I'll show you. When I close or open, sometimes they're both really critical. Let's see if we can get this one up here. If you never fail, you have never really tried. So what I'm sharing with you today, if you're not getting in front of people, it's not two different roads. As I teach in this lecture here, is success and failure are down the same road. And for you to be a great speaker, if you want to get up here and you want to do this and you want to make people laugh and you want to make people understand and you want to sell and you want to create success in your operation, you got to be able to do this, and you got to be able to get up on the stage, and you got to be able to present. That's just the way it goes. And a lot of it's due with attitude. It's attitude. And I more and more today, I think it's about 80%. I can take it. If you have the right attitude, we can do almost anything. But without attitude, you are choking. You are dying. So remember what I said about great presentations. You got to have an open, 3 points, and a close. And that's what's going to make you a tremendous success. You watch this. I know that if you take what we shared with you today and you go out there and you do some things with it, you're going to be a tremendous success. If you want to get even better, follow the links to our website. Sign up for one of our 2-day sessions where we do this for 2 days. We put you on the stage. We get you good. I'm telling you, your PowerPoint, your presentations, everything, all of a sudden, you'll start to see audiences move. You'll start to make more money. You'll start to be more successful. Why? Because you're getting the point out to people. You have got to be able to speak in front of people. I'm going to leave you with this saying because it's so important to me, and I just wanted to make sure it comes across. There it is. All right, let me share this because this is my saying, and this is the one that I love to share with people because I think it really says it all. Only the unsuccessful will tell you you can't. Please take that to heart. Only the unsuccessful will tell you you can't. People who are successful will never tell you you can't. They're always going to tell you, okay, how do we make you even more successful? How do we make you even more successful? Now, you can see the stuff at the bottom. I'm going to share on the screen with you just so you have some contact data if you're not getting it from the bottom or you're in somehow. Here we go. All right. So great presentation. That's how you find me. God bless you. This is how you connect with me. That information should also be at the bottom of your screen. Guess what? We're out of time. Are we really? Yeah, we're out of time. It's been great having another hangout with you. I'm so excited to be here today. And I want you to take this, watch it again and again. And I want you to come to the class because I'm telling you, no matter where you are right now in your presentations, this 30 minutes will make you so much better if you do what it says. But we're going to make you even better if you're interested. So if you really want to grow, if you really want to take your business to the next level, you've got to learn how to do this in front of people, do it effectively, and get them to move, make some action happen. This is Coach Manny saying, we're always here trying to make this a better world. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for all your support. This is the coach saying, have a great